We are anonymous. We are the Watchers. We bring you military truths the powers don't want you to hear. On the night of October 14th, 2025, beneath a heavy fog draping the steel of the crybridge, a silent covenant between Beijing and Moscow bore fruit. A convoy of 250 trucks flew Chinese diplomatic flags under the guise of humanitarian cooperation. Beneath that veneer of aid rolled the machinery of war. American satellite reconnaissance had pinpointed the transfer in motion, a $1.4 billion shipment of dual-use military hardware hidden inside crates of rice and medicine, bound for Russia's war machine. Radar cores, drone microchips, carbon fiber wing assemblies, all disguised as relief. Miles away, deep underground in Ukraine, the Artificial Intelligence Command Center, SOVA-9, monitored every heartbeat of the mission. Its focus Operation Spectre, silent, clinical. With no human hesitation, a swarm of FPV kamikaze drones, cheap, compact, lethal, waited for the trigger. One encrypted packet from orbit, one command. Attack at exactly 3:42 a.m. Under the heavy fog over the Dnipro River, the convoy crossed the nearly 1.6-mile steel artery. Banners read, Humanitarian Cooperation Mission. But these trucks carried electronics enough to build 40 attack drones per truck, or 2 full radar stations each. The escort thought itself invincible. 2 S-400 anti-aircraft launchers, 3 Kasuka, 4 electronic warfare trucks, a calm Russian liaison smoking a cigarette. In the lead vehicle, radioing jokes about diplomatic immunity. Unbeknownst to them, 20 AI-guided explosives had been planted 5 days earlier by Ukrainian special forces, disguised as construction divers beneath the bridge. Each device cost less than $700, but together they were capable of wiping out over $2 billion in goods and people. Above the fog thickened, truck headlights flickered like fireflies. The bridge creaked under weight it was built to bear, and somewhere beneath the steel, a small green diode flickered, then went dark. The trap was triggered. Hidden beneath 165 feet of concrete and steel, the SOVA-9 Center ran the show. 20 Ukrainian analysts sat bathed in dim blue light, watching live satellite telemetry and encrypted radio chatter from the convoy. Their Operation Spectre, a joint US and UK-funded AI system controlling a fleet of 20 Kajak Reboth FPV drones disguised as maintenance trucks. Each weighed just 10 pounds, carried a 3-pound shaped charge, capable of slicing through 2 feet of reinforced concrete. At $600 each, the swarm cost less than $8,500, about the price of a Chinese soldier's rifle scope, yet able to destroy more than $200 million in military assets in a single strike. They lay dormant for 72 hours, powered by cryogenically melted micro-batteries, awaiting the signal. At 4:12 a.m., Lieutenant Melnick spotted a change on the thermal feed. The Chinese truck slowed to below 10 miles per hour, tires cracking from synthetic rubber failing in the cold. The prediction built by SOVA-9 registered a 94.3% certainty. Target confirmed. The commander gave the order, execute 7. Across the river, the 20 dormant drones awoke. Could these tiny machines penetrate Russia's S-400 defenses? And 3, Kasuka 4 jammers. The silence answered. Inside the S-400 command vehicle, Lieutenant Sergei Malinov, 27, and sleep-deprived, saw a faint radar flicker, a ghostly reflection. Fear drove him to switch from passive to active targeting, flooding his command post with high-frequency pulses. His screen lit up with false echoes, ghostly communications dancing across the feed. Panicking, he launched 2 9M96E missiles, worth millions, into the fog. They destroyed a dummy Ukrainian transmitter under the bridge. A fireball 30 feet high blossomed, militarily pointless, psychologically devastating. The illusion of control vanished. Radio crackled, contact, trucks braked. 27 vehicles crushed mid-bridge, 34 soldiers died instantly under twisted steel and flame. The bridge became a fiery choke point, a tomb. Meanwhile, SOVA-9, adapted 19 drones dove under girders into radar darkness. One activated an X-band jammer, emitting a 1.5 kilowatt pulse that crippled Russian radars within 3 kilometers. Screens went white. Sensors blinked out. At 4:45 a.m., the single word flashed on Kiev's screen: executed. 11 drones traveling 220 miles per hour slammed into the bridge underside in 1.3 seconds. Shaped charges lifted 12,000 tons of concrete. The bridge didn't collapse. It disintegrated. The next 5 drones struck the convoy center where 9 Chinese JY-27A radar vehicles moved. Surgical blasts carved through steel like scalpels, severing arteries. The final 3 drones ignited 78,000 gallons of jet fuel. The fireball, half a mile wide, vaporized the 250 trucks, crushed steel, obliterated 10,000 supplies. The explosion registered as a 2.8 magnitude earthquake. From the command bunker, the SOVA-9 heat signature exploded red. Target grid saturation 100%. The middle 400-meter section of the bridge flared into a raging inferno. Russian and Chinese soldiers screamed into broken radios, some diving into freezing water, others frozen in awe at the light and heat. An operator's calm voice crackled. Objective complete. Structure will collapse in 20 seconds. And collapse it did. The explosion did more than destroy hardware. It cracked open a global political earthquake. Seismic sensors in Moscow and Beijing registered the blast as 2.9 magnitude, equivalent to 1,500 tons of TNT. Within seconds, satellite networks, intelligence grids, and diplomatic hotlines across 3 continents blazed alive. In Moscow, the National Defense Control Center lost contact. 2 S-400 launchers, 3 Kasuka-4 jammers, and 248 diplomatic trucks vanished from radar. Only a plume of thermal energy spread across the Dnepro. In Beijing, the hit felt like humiliation. The cargo loss traced to the Ministry of State Security's offshore logistics front, Shenlong Energy Development. Chinese state media abruptly cut programming and played patriotic music. By 5:00 a.m., the official line: mechanical failure on a Ukrainian bridge. But raw satellite feeds from NOAA 22 already leaked, showing the convoy's destruction in crystal clarity. Chinese netizens noticed engineers tied to the Red Eagle long-range strike drone project missing. At least 16 Chinese military scientists were dead, including Dr. Liang Yuan, Beijing's top radar systems architect. In Moscow, the Kremlin scrambled. The foreign minister demanded an emergency session of the United Nations Security Council, accusing Ukraine of attacking diplomatic property behind closed doors. Russian generals admitted the blow crushed their southern front. 72 hours of ammunition lost. The only digital command relay to the Zaporizhzhia sector destroyed. At dawn, the smoke above the Dnepro rose higher than clouds, a black scar visible 40 miles away. The bridge was gone. The alliance bleeding. For the first time, both Moscow and Beijing realized their partnership had been shattered, not by a massive bomb, but by 20 drones smaller than a hawk. At 6:00 a.m. Eastern Time, the Situation Room beneath the United States Department of Defense came alive. A satellite feed from Europe displayed the twisted steel and concrete of the bridge, a 1.2-mile scar of destruction. No survivors, no vehicles, no trace of the convoy. Defense analysts, stunned, calculated 250 trucks, 16 senior engineers, over 90 tons of advanced microchips, destined for Russian missile systems, erased in one operation costing less than $20,000. A joint project between 2 superpowers, 5 years in the making, wiped out. The U.S. Secretary of Defense leaned forward. Gentlemen, the message is clear. Intelligence beats intimidation. Reports from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization confirmed. Supply chains south of the Dnepro collapsed. Chinese cargo flights to Moscow rerouted. Kremlin television silently scaled back coverage of the special partnership. For Ukraine, the strike became psychological dominance. A nation once underestimated used 20 autonomous drones to dismantle the illusion of invincibility. Soldiers on the riverbank watched the embers fade beneath the waves. They didn't cheer. They didn't celebrate. They just knew the message was delivered. Victory no longer belongs to the side making the loudest threats, but to the mind that thinks quietly and strikes first.